The crag population roared in unison, celebrating their victory against the human United Nations. Every holoprojector broadcasted the devastation of the human world, Sirius Prime. The crag's superweapon, the Calori, known in galactic common as the biological atomizer, sent a shockwave of neutrons across the planet, turning all biomatter into ash. The broadcast showed humans running and being vaporized, crying and trying to hide like the primitive apes they were. Surely, this would show the inferior species that the Crag Empire was the strongest, and that they should grovel beneath our feet. However, in the following weeks, no capitulation came from the human United Nations. There was no condemnation of the devastation of Sirius Prime. In fact, the human leadership was eerily silent. Maybe they were in shock from their absolute defeat. After all, the humans were still experiencing a splintered state of government, despite their ascension to interstellar colonization. Maybe they were experiencing internal strife between their nations. This was the first sign we ignored. The second sign was the mass exodus of the human population from several worlds in the galactic community, all apparently returning to their home world, Terra. But the final sign we ignored was perhaps our biggest failure. We not only ignored it as a sign of danger, but we laughed, believing it to be a sign of weakness. The erasure of the hyperlanes connecting to all human systems was an incredible feat, on par with the greatest civilizations to ever grace the galactic stage. But we were so drunk in our hubris, we failed to realize what such an action entailed. It meant the humans were more technologically advanced than anyone else in the current galactic community. The galactic community chastised us for our barbaric actions during the war, some members going as far as to say we had awoken a sleeping giant. But once again, we laughed, blinded by our self-righteous arrogance, calling those members cowards. Especially when some attempted to send diplomatic missions to Terra to broker true peace. We promised those members the same fate as Sirius for such an act of defiance. It turns out they were wiser than us. It was a normal day when every holoprojector in the galaxy stopped their usual program to broadcast a message from the humans. However, instead of the usual emblem of the human United Nations, a new emblem appeared. A golden eagle with 12 stars around it and the human letters SBQT below. Then a human male appeared, his head shaven, his brown eyes piercing. His skin wasn't as dark as some humans, but it wasn't the lightest. It was somewhere in between. People of the galaxy, my name is Augustus. I am the Emperor of the Senate and the people of Terra. In the wake of the war with the vermin known as the Crag, we, the people of Terra, underwent a shift. We realized that we could no longer be divided amongst ourselves when fighting enemies as ruthless as the Crag. As such, the world agreed, and instead of a single nation taking over, we all abdicated and revived one of the greatest empires of our past. My brood mate snarled every time he called us vermin, shouting insults and death threats towards the holoprojector. Me, however, I felt something was terribly wrong. A heavy sense of dread was settling over me, dominating me. I got up and opened a window. In the sky, I could see a new bright star in the distance. Today is the 2-year anniversary of the massacre of Sirius Prime. That day, our eyes were opened to the reality of war with other galactic powers. We were so focused on our peacekeeping agenda and our own rules of war, we did not consider that other powers did not care about such rules. We were wrong, and we paid the price. This brings me to my next point. To every power in the galaxy, I ask that you understand what we are about to do is not an act of revenge, nor is it born out of hatred for the Crag. We spent the last year and a half debating this topic, with several global referendums and Senate votes being issued and revised. The people and the Senate of Terra have declared the Crag to be a parasite and vermin, a species that exalts in destruction and misery. As such, we have voted that the Geneva Conventions do not apply to them and have marked them for extermination. I felt a chill travel down my body as the star in the sky kept glowing brighter and brighter. The human voice felt otherworldly. We have initiated the Nemesis Protocol 30 minutes ago and began shattering every Crag world apart from their capital world. To those inhabiting those worlds, I hope you find solace in each other before the end, because you will find none after. And to the Crag leadership, do not worry. We, on our path towards the stars, have learned the importance of the preservation of species, even those considered to be parasitic in origin. Your capital world will be reaped, with 10,000 individuals being transported to a preservation station orbiting the Erebus black hole, where every possible need your species might have, from environment to nutrition, will be met. The world will then be quantum shifted, existing in a locked, temporal loop for all of eternity. I turned towards my brood mates, whose faces were twisted in horror as the realization of reality washed over them. Outside, I could hear the commotion and the cries of panic. I couldn't help but feel empty, wondering if this was how the humans we vaporized had felt just before their deaths. The glow was now so bright that it was outshining our star. In a moment of gravity, Emperor Augustus of humanity made a serious proclamation through the hollow projector. As I sprinted towards my brood mates to embrace them, I felt the ripples of the new era spreading throughout the galaxy. The entire cosmos responded. The stars, black holes, nebulas, comets, and planets quaked under the awakening as the heralding light reached them, reminding every soul of the galaxy's transformation. It was the dawn of the age of humanity. Standing on my balcony, I gazed up at the vibrant night sky, absorbing the wonder of the cosmos, a magnificent backdrop for the first burst of light. This herald had taken a decade to arrive, carrying a message every sentient, spacefaring species already understood. The light originated from the Kree system, once a border territory of the Kukra Empire, now part of our civilization, the Hyvea Republic. This light was not from the system's twin stars but from Kutri Prime, its sole habitable planet. It marked an event now known throughout the galaxy as Nija, the Day of Retribution. A decade ago, some species celebrated the event, particularly those targeted by the Kukra's expansionist agenda, turning it into a holy day. Our planet did not join in the celebrations. Our Council of Elders condemned it as a barbaric act, despite the Kukra's notorious reputation. This sentiment was echoed by many in the galactic community. Despite widespread apprehension, the newly formed SBQT, informally called the Human Imperium, faced little threat from those who opposed its actions. We understand that many will oppose our actions against the Kukra, claiming we had no right to judge an entire species, said Emperor Augustus. His voice was warm and inviting, despite his predatory human physiology. Within our own forums, a significant percentage of our people opposed the decision. However, the majority chose this path. I know some will call our actions vengeful for the 1.343 billion humans massacred on Sirius Prime. Grief still permeates our hearts, and many of us harbor hatred towards the Kukra. I, too, lost family on that day. My brother and his family were among the countless victims. But we must move forward together. The Emperor's speech was generally well received among the galactic powers, though some remained steadfast in their condemnation of the SBQT. The representative of the VAR condemned the genocidal actions of the humans, but expressed a willingness to re-establish diplomatic relations if the humans agreed to discuss reparations and the release of the 10,000 Kukra imprisoned on the preservation station. The Emperor agreed to participate in these talks personally, with the location set for my home world, Araria Ni, at the request of the humans. This decision sent the local population into a frenzy of suspicion, prompting the sector governor to issue a formal declaration of trust, which did little to ease tensions. As a member of the sector government, I would be participating in the meeting. The arrival of the human emperor was scheduled for tomorrow. The morning of the human royal arrival began like any other, with our star accompanied by the Nija glow in the blue sky. The sector government team gathered around a table, discussing plans for the visit before the negotiations began. Suddenly, the intercom rang, and the voice of the Araria spaceport master reported, "No hyperlane signal detected. None of our outposts have picked up any signal from human-controlled space." Governor Elder Prince Zul thanked the spaceport master for the update, but I could see the fur on his back ruffle in concern. The agreement seemed a sham, and the humans appeared to be planning an attack. Our system was 440 light-years from Terra. The journey through the hyperlane should take approximately 16 hours, yet there were no reports of any convoy from human space. How would they even travel? I wondered aloud. The whole room stared at me, triggering my fight-or-flight response, which I managed to overcome with considerable effort. "That is a pertinent question, Moru," said the governor, nodding. "The humans erased the hyperlanes to their systems, and they haven't been restored. Suddenly, the intercom sprang to life again, and the spaceport master's voice trembled. "Sir, there has been a gravitational signature detected." "Where from?" the governor asked. "Here," the spaceport master replied. "It's everywhere." For a brief moment, the world seemed to stop. Everyone looked up at the sky as the blue void began to ripple faster and faster. My heart skipped a beat, not out of nervousness but wonder. This wasn't an attack. It didn't feel like it. It was something else. Suddenly, a ring appeared, sending one final wave through space before fading into infinite nothingness. Through the ring, we saw another set of stars in the distance and one planet. I immediately recognized it as Terra, the home of the humans, though it appeared different than in the hollow projectors. This Terra had two artificial rings constructed around it, one contained within the other. From a distance, several dockyards were visible, serving primarily as part of the planetary spaceport. The second ring, with a circumference at least 10 times larger than the inner ring, appeared to contain both seas and landmasses on its inner surface. Lights dotted these islands or continents. The outer surface of this ring seemed to function as a formidable defensive barrier, equipped with cannons and other weaponry. As we gazed at the marvel of this planet, our view was abruptly obstructed by a massive ship emerging through the gate. It was an elegant vessel with sleek black armor adorned with intricate golden botanical designs. In stark white, the words TI Aegis stood out. Fortunately, I had studied the human alphabet and languages in the preceding years. Wait, how was I able to read it from this distance? The intercom buzzed, and the voice of the spaceport master, nearly stuttering, announced, "A wormhole has been detected, and a gargantuan vessel has traversed it." "How massive?" Master the Rose asked the governor. "Our sensors indicate it's 70 kilometers in length, and it's emitting a power signature unlike anything we've ever seen," the spaceport master replied. "And it appears they're hailing us. Keep us connected as they contact you," ordered the governor. "Greetings, Olaria Spaceport. This is Admiral Chala of the Tan Imperial vessel Aegis. We are transporting His Imperial Majesty Augustus on a diplomatic visit to Auraria." "Permission to dock," said a smooth voice in perfect galactic common. "Greetings, Admiral Chala. Welcome to Auraria," responded the spaceport master. "This is Spaceport Master Ryan. I would love to permit you to dock, but it appears your vessel is too large for our spaceport. You will have to gravitationally anchor to our moon." "Understood, Master Ryan. We shall do as you request. We will send our administrative staff over to the spaceport to handle the bureaucracy. In the meantime, the diplomatic mission will make its way towards the surface of Auraria. Where should they land?" "Hello, this is Elder Varia, Sector Governor of the Auraria Sector. We shall send you the coordinates for the diplomatic disembarkation platform," interjected the governor. "Very well, Elder Varia. We'll be awaiting your instructions." A few hours later, the entire sector governmental team stood by the diplomatic platform as a black and gold shuttle gently floated down. As it landed and the ramp extended, I got my first look at humans. They were quite taller than us, lacking our fur or tails. They had only 4 limbs, 2 upper limbs and 2 lower ones. Their hair and skin pigmentation were quite varied. Of the security detachment that exited the shuttle before the diplomatic team, there were 3 yellow-haired humans, 2 with orange hair, and 5 with brown and black hair. I noticed the yellow and orange-haired individuals had very light skin pigmentation, while the others had darker tones. All of them wore some sort of eye protection. Finally, after the security team formed 2 lines, Emperor Augustus exited the shuttle. He was smaller than the guards but had an undeniable air of absolute power. His brown eyes quickly scanned the platform before resting on the sector governmental team, sending chills up my spine. Judging by the pheromones emanating from the rest of the team, the reaction was shared by everyone else. Those were the eyes of an apex predator, a hunter. He walked toward the team and bowed his head, placing his hand on his nape in a formal Villar greeting. "I am honored to be here under the guidance of the elders and everyone who came before. I am Augustus, formerly Michael, and I am here on behalf of humanity. I am all of them, and they are all of me." His voice was smooth, almost like a singing bird, but that is not what caught us off guard. He spoke in our language, Heron, with a slightly foreign accent. My eyes focused more intently on the emperor, analyzing every aspect of his being. He wore a white cloth vest with gold embroidery and white pants, resembling a military uniform. On his left hand, he wore 2 rings, one a simple golden band, the other an ornate ring with an eagle holding the letters SPQR. Before anyone could respond, the emperor looked up and smiled as the light of our star bathed his skin. Your star, Auraria, holds exceptional meaning for us humans. We call it Polaris, the North Star. It helped navigators centuries ago travel the seas, and now it helps us explore this unending cosmic sea. The governor smiled and cleared his throat before speaking in the human English language.
Welcome, Emperor Augustus.
I am Elder Varia. We are honored by your visit and appreciate your dedication to diplomacy by learning our language. I am sure that as we move forward, we will be able to prevent the mistakes of the past. The emperor nodded and approached the governor, holding out his hand. However, a loud yell echoed through the platform before the governor could grasp the emperor's hand. On high alert, the Imperial Guard grabbed their weapons but were not fast enough. A POW, an avian species known for their battle-oriented society, was diving down, holding an energy rifle and pointing it directly at the emperor. "Murderer!" shouted the POW, pulling the trigger and sealing the fates of millions in one fell swoop.